Hey everyone, it's Kat. I've got a new video for you. So we're going to be continuing to talk about our UI settings for EQ2. So last time we talked about everything you wanted to know about your hotbars and then some, I'm sure. Today we're going to keep talking about the windows and the different buttons that you have and the options that maybe you don't know about or maybe you do, but hopefully you get some neat little tricks from what I'm going to talk about today. So to adjust your windows again and move them around your screen, you want to hit F10. And now for me, the goal is that your windows is that you want to be able to see what's going on. You want to get all the useful information you can out of them, but you don't want to have anything blocking your ability to see or play the game um, as much as possible. So I do have all my stuff around the edges here, and you'll see that my windows, like my spell effects window here, for example, it is possible to make this tinier, right? The problem with that is that it starts to stack your icons on top of one another so that you can't actually see all your effects that are happening right now. So I do like to spread this out a little bit, and part of that is because if one of my effects goes away and it wears off, how am I gonna know if I can't see it? So I ate a snack a few minutes ago. So, and if I want to look at my elusive snack buff, it's right there. And as you'll notice, it says it's 4 minutes and 21 seconds, 20 seconds, it's counting down. So this lets me know when that goes away, or if I want to scroll over it, just how much time I have left. So it can work the same with like your heart bond or other buffs that you have that are maybe temporary. So I think here too is my decimate hate. So I have 1 day, 1 hour remaining on that. Um, Very helpful to see. So I do want it, as much out of the way as possible, but I absolutely want to know what's going on with my buffs, and I want to know when they expire. Um, the only thing that I really want to have in the middle where I can see it, where I'm not going to miss it if something happens, is my detrimental spell effects window. So usually if you get one of these detrimental spell effects, it's because something has happened that you need to address immediately. So especially if you're playing heroics, this is usually some hint that you have to do something with the script, you have to um, take care of something in a certain order, or you're the person to do it. Um, and if you don't, then it means you're going to wipe or wipe your group. So I do like to have at least this window like right out in the middle of the screen where it's going to be really obvious and I'm not going to miss it. Okay, I'm going to hit F10 to go back to normal. The other thing is I do have a few extra heroes that aren't like the default. So I did add the compass, which you get from hitting Alt-N. I did add the threat window, especially helpful for tanks, and that you can get through options. And of course I have my pet window, since this is my Shadow Knight and they are a pet class. Of course I have my group over here to the left. Basically that's the standard position. I do want to talk a little bit about our chat tab. So generally the standard tabs that you come with are main chat and combat, but you can adjust them, okay? You can customize them. So if main chat page as is too much information, too much being thrown at you, and you were looking for a way to organize that, make it easier, maybe put your guild chat and your tells on a separate tab, you absolutely can do that. So what you want to do is right click, and you can add tabs, you can delete tabs, go to chat options. You can actually customize just what is said in those tabs, what channels that you've joined there. You can join custom channels or make custom channels. You can even adjust the size of the font if it's too small or too big. Okay, so I think that's about everything I want to cover, at least as far as your windows and your setup goes. But let's talk about this bar across the bottom, okay? And for now, I'm going to ignore the EQ2 button, as there is a lot here, and we really should talk more in detail about this. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the rest of the stuff, and we'll do a separate video on just that button right there. So the first tab is your housing and your leaderboards. So, and this will list all the houses you own on this toon, as well as your guild hall. So from any major city, as long as you're within that city, all you have to do is click and you can enter your house or your guild hall. So if Call to Guild Hall is down, but you want to go get in there real fast, you can always take fast travel to the city and then from there go straight into your guild hall without having to run through the streets or go out to the docks or whatever it is. So that is sometimes in a pinch that's really helpful, and it works for free to play players as well. Um, your next button is the guild button. So if you're not currently guilded, what this will do, this will pull up all the guilds on your server that are recruiting. If you are in a guild, it'll show you like who's online, um, can show you what are the recent events that the guild has done. The next button here is you're looking for group. So not too many people use this much anymore, but if you wanted to put out the tag that you're looking for group or you're looking for work, you absolutely can. Your next button over is your community button, and this is where you'll find your friends list. It's also where you can put people on the ignore list or take them off. Um, and then lastly, of course, we have our map button. So if you want to access fast travel, if you remember, it's this little icon with the wings in the upper left hand corner. Now, this is not an exhaustive list of all the places you can get to from Bell or for Wizard Spire. Like you'll notice Phantom Sea and Tranquil Sea are missing here, Obulus Frontier is missing, but this is almost all the major locations you can get to. Okay, across the bottom here, this is our XP tab, or our XP um, bar. XP bar, that's what it is. Okay, so you can also change this as well. So right now I have it on Ascensions because that's what I'm leveling. My AAs, my trade skill, my adventure is all max level on this tune. Ascensions is the last thing I'm working on. But if you're a lower level tune and you're working on your adventure levels, or maybe you're working on your trade skill, all you need to do is right click and you can change it. So I can change it to adventure. And if I mouse over it, it'll tell me what my bonuses are, what my XP is. Same thing if I do for trade skill. And you'll see it, for trade skill it's purple. And it'll tell me what that is for my trade skill. It says I'm 100%. I go back to my ascension and I scroll over it. Not only does it tell me what ascension class I am right now, but how much I have towards my next level. Okay? Right, and then of course that tells you what your level actually is. Right, so starting over on this right hand side, we've got our character window. So, and of course you can get that from also just hitting C on your keyboard. I think most of us are really familiar with our character page, but there are a few little ins and outs that maybe if you're new or you're returning, you've forgotten about or haven't figured out how to do yet. So something that I find is really helpful and saves me a ton of time is to do sets. So if you're someone that likes to adventure, but you also craft or harvest, and I think most of us end up doing that, is rather than having to open up your bags and like manually switch out all your crafting gear or all your harvest gear, it is super easy and fast just to set up sets. And then all you have to do to switch back and forth between, say, your crafting or your harvesting gear is to highlight and equip. And there you have all your crafting gear. Or if I want to harvest, since it's a little bit different, highlight and equip. Okay, and then go back to your adventure. So it's very, very easy to set this up. All you want to do is make sure you have all your gear equipped that you want for whichever set it is that you're doing, to hit the plus button and to name it. So, and you can reuse the same name over and over again. So for my adventure set, say I were to switch out for a new set of better gloves, I would put the new set of gloves in and I would just type adventure again, create set, and there would be my new updated set. It's just that simple. Okay. So going down what the character window has to offer, of course you have your appearance gear. Wardrobe is actually something that's really cool, and that's on the newer side still, is that we got it with KA. So it used to be that, you would get gear, you would get drops, and it would be for a different class than what that tune was, but you would think the appearance on it was so cool. You're like, why can't I wear this? I just want the look for it. I don't need the stats. Well, that is what wardrobe has let us do. So for example, this helm right here. Okay, so you'll see it's got a really cool appearance on it, and it worked perfectly with my Tinkerfest outfit. So, but unfortunately, if you look at it, it's only Bruiser, Chandler, Fury, Monk, or Warden. So this is my Shadow Knight, so she couldn't have worn it without the wardrobe tab. But you add it to wardrobe, and and it becomes an appearance item, and you can use it for that. So the downside is it does destroy the item. So if this is something you want for stats, like don't put it in wardrobe because it will destroy it. But if it's just something you just like the look of and you want to save it for that, you absolutely, wardrobe is the way to go, and you can do it there. Okay, so our skills button. Now, I think most of this is self-explanatory. You get your adventure skills, your trade skills, but if you were ever wondering, maybe you need to know a certain language and you don't remember if that tune knows that language or not, where do you go to find out? Go to skills, go to the general tab, and you'll see here it has a long list of all the languages that your tune speaks. Okay, we have course of action. If you're a pet class, you have a pet tab. We've looked at mounts and familiars and mercenaries before. There's a restore items tab here, so if you accidentally destroyed something you didn't mean to or sold it, you can try to get it back this way if it's still available. Options. This is where you can set your titles. You can give your tune a last name. Um, you can decide whether or not you want to wear a head cover or a helm or hat. If you want to wear equipped bows, or if you'd rather have melee weapons or a cloak. Your illusion form, it's all there. You do want to make sure that you have your auto attack mode on. Okay, it should either be forced melee if you're a melee tune, or it should be forced ranged if you're a caster. Auto attack is very important for getting your procs rolling. So you do need to actually get in a fight. You need to hit something, so that means even if you're a healer, you do want to have auto attack on, so that way you can get the procs to go. Okay. Alright, so of course our next button is our knowledge book, which you can also get to by hitting K. And we did talk about this before with our spells and about how to sort it so you have the highest level um, available. And we did talk about how you do want to use this to upgrade stuff like your Grandmasters and your Ascension spells. So it's a good idea to check here and make sure that you are putting this to work for you and that your upgrades are researching. We have our AA button, so I will do a separate video when we look at AAs and talk about this more in depth, but just so you know, that's where you find it. Of course, we get our bags, or you can just hit B to pull those up, and you also get your journal. So I think we all use our quest journals a lot, right? And you can obviously, you have your quest and your quest journal checked off, and that's what populates your to-do list. So you can have more, you can have less. It's up to you what you feel comfortable with. I like only having a few at a time, otherwise I get overwhelmed. Um, and across the bottom here you have the tabs. Like right now this is on my active quest. I can look at my completed quest. But one thing you may not realize is that if you'll notice, I'm in a group right now, and because I'm in a group, I have this extra tab across the bottom that says group. So what does that do? Well, it actually lists all the people I'm grouped with, and I can look in their quest journal and see what quests they have. So this becomes really helpful if you're in a group and you're trying to do weeklies, and maybe there's a daily and you're not sure if the person has the right daily, if maybe they have an old one, and they can't find it, or they're not sure if they have the quest or not. You can go into their quest book and actually help them look for it. Okay. The other thing you can do too is with your group mates, you can share quests. So I've got this quest highlighted. I want to share this with my group mate here. All I have to do is click the share button. Okay. So then that shares the quest with a person in my group. So if someone forgot to go pick up the quest, you can share it with them. Okay. And then going back to that journal tab, I think most of us are familiar with collections and achievements. But one cool thing too, and this is what I'm going to finish up the video with, is that this mission timer tabs. If you're one of those people that you want to do the PQ and you just logged on, you're hoping you didn't miss it, what time does the next PQ start? Look in your mission timer tab, because if you look down here and you'll notice it goes quite a few items here, but right here we have the water PQ, and it tells me that the next time that starts is in 37 minutes. Okay, and if I wanted to find the other PQ, it would be just further down the list. Okay, I think that's everything I want to talk about other than the EQ2 button, which we'll save for later. Hopefully you guys learned some neat tips and some tricks to help you guys out and to help you organize your UI settings. Hey, thanks guys. Till next time.